Law of Attraction Tips for Protecting Your Precious Vibration Part 2. As promised on Wednesday, here is Part 2 of my tips on protecting your precious vibration, the conduit through which the universe delivers that to which you are a match. Enjoy. Commit to feeling good just for the sake of it, and no other reason. This is something I have certainly discussed before in various contexts, and I decided to bring it up here again because pretty much everyone who is working with Loa consciously, myself included, could use a nice little reminder about this absolutely golden nugget of wisdom. When we can remember to do this, oh how much easier our manifesting becomes. The reason you don't have the things you want now is because there is some sort of discord in your vibration. There are feelings and beliefs that contradict this desire. For one reason or another, there is some sort of doubt that you can't have this thing. And because this resistance is usually pretty strong, some work usually needs to be done. We have to work on deliberately shifting our focus when we start going down the road of negative thoughts and feelings. We have to examine our current beliefs, and mold new ones, and conjure up positive feelings around whatever it is we want. We figure out what feelings lie behind the desire, and take steps to cultivate them now. Remember, we are always after a feeling, another little reminder you may need. Now, while all the above is usually necessary at points in the process because of the strong resistance we have that will not just go away on its own, you probably know all this focus doesn't feel so great sometimes. You notice the absence of whatever it is you want, and you feel that absence. That bastard brain of yours starts trying to figure out how you'll get it. The detachment you have been working on can completely go out the window at times. You try to feel good, and you just don't, and that makes you feel even worse. One of the best ways to counteract all of this is the zany idea of just trying to be happy for no other reason than feeling happy. Crazy. I know. Why the hell would anyone want to do that? You have manifesting to do. This is serious work. Just work on feeling good for the sake of feeling good. Don't always have the ulterior motive of manifesting something. Don't always be thinking about attracting. Just do things that make you feel happy, relaxed, or some other nice warm and fuzzy. We attract based on feeling, not what we are thinking about specifically or action. Reminder alert. When you start feeling better, your vibration raises, and from there, all sorts of awesomeness will come into your experience. It has no choice. Once you start shifting your internal world, your external experience has to change. Don't worry, your order with the good old universe has been placed. You don't need to think about it all the time. You are not responsible for orchestrating the manifestation. Figure out what steps you can take immediately to improve your current situation. Since we can only attract that to which we are a match in our current moment, we have to start feeling better right now, no two ways about it. We have to get some energy moving in the right direction. If you are convinced you can't possibly feel better until things outside change first, you're in heap of trouble. Your whole world is a representation of your vibration, and your experience can't change until you do. Loa blogger Melody Fletcher uses an awesome analogy that perfectly illustrates this idea. It is like if you were looking in the mirror and refused to smile until your reflection smiled first. Can't happen. When you finally take stock of what is happening now, and start thinking about your more ideal situation, the two realities may seem really far away from each other. This feels discouraging. We are impatient and we want huge changes immediately. But this usually won't happen, and it's okay. It doesn't mean it can never happen. But just because your new life can't appear within the next week, doesn't mean you can't start dramatically feeling better as things stand presently. You need to assess your current situation and see what you can do to start feeling better right now. What is weighing on you most, and how can you experience some sense of relief? Relief is huge, and a top priority. If you have too many commitments, drop some of them, or scale back as soon as possible. If you have been avoiding creditors because you haven't been able to pay your bills, pick up the phone and talk to them. Set up some sort of payment plan so you don't have to deal with the stress of having collection agencies call you 10 times a day. If you have a pain in the ass client who is so not worth the money, and it is financially feasible, drop him as soon as possible. Now, while any action you may take may have some level of discomfort, that is normal. You don't want to take huge steps for which you really don't feel ready for on an energetic level, which essentially means you feel truly good about it. This just leads to self-sabotage, and increases fear and other negative feelings. The heavier these feelings, the more difficult it becomes to shift them. If you don't have a huge amount of trust in Loa, which you probably don't if you are just starting out, or are really struggling with certain manifestations, bold moves like marching into your boss's office to tell him you are getting out of this hellhole, when you only have $50 in your savings account, will probably not be the best course of action. What could you start doing now that would make you feel like you are moving towards what you want? What could you do that would make you feel good, that would get you into the feelings that lie behind what you want to manifest? Again, don't go too bold if it doesn't feel good. If you would like to try and be an actress, for example, sign up for a class, rather than jumping right into open casting calls on Broadway. If you hope to become a professional writer, but lack confidence in your ability, start a blog and post at least a few times a week. Once you get your confidence up a bit with that, start applying to freelancing jobs. Now, this advice may seem like I am suggesting you go small, and be realistic. But that isn't what I am saying at all. What I am saying is, since we create based on feeling, we have to do things that are actually making us feel good. If we make really big moves that don't feel good, and our limiting beliefs about what is possible are still really strong, the good energy won't be there, and when it isn't there, the things we want can't make their way in. Whatever you want is possible, but without honoring where you are now, your progress will be stunted, and you will struggle needlessly. You'll say this stuff doesn't work and you'll give up. And that would be a damn shame. Take ownership of your feelings. For maximum vibration protection, you have to start taking ownership of your feelings. As tempting as it is to blame other people for making us feel badly, and as much sense as it seems to make, if this person didn't say or do X, I wouldn't feel this way now, it is a habit we need to work on breaking. We are really used to blaming other people for how we feel, and we have a lot of momentum behind this mode of operating. We are a million times very accustomed to living reactively, where our feelings are constantly being determined by things happening in our external experience. We have trouble feeling happy without a reason to do so. Our good mood can be killed in a second as soon as we experience something unwanted. I won't lie to you, this is really freaking hard sometimes, and you won't succeed at every turn. It's okay, we're only human and prone to all sorts of emotions. We all have our insecurities, triggers, etc. And sometimes people are just going to get to us. They'll totally kill our mood, they'll say or do something that just makes us want to punch them right in the face. Such is life. But while we have our moments, and we want to work on shaking them off as best we can, we have to make a conscious effort to do this if we really want to succeed with applying law of attraction. So long as you are living in the real world surrounded by other humans, you are contending with a major source of vibrational sabotage, and the only way to counteract it is taking an active role in guiding your feelings and thoughts by taking complete responsibility for them. This can be a particular problem for people who are working with Loa and have a partner who may not be that receptive or think it is total bullshit through and through, or may be interested as well, but is not quite as far down the path as you. They express doubts and fears and talk about a whole bunch of stuff that you would rather avoid because of the way it makes you feel. They are just totally messing with your vibe, damn it, and it needs to stop. We put our focus on wishing they would start changing in some way so things would be easier for us, and while it would be awesome if people just did what we wanted them to do, we can't bank on it, and we certainly can't make them. Now, as exhausting as this may be at times, it is incredibly empowering. Realizing we totally run the show, we can decide how we will feel and other people can't bring us down, is a huge boon to your Loa work. No other people can't ever create in your reality, they can only affect our manifestations insofar as we let all their stuff get to us. You can't blame other people for interfering with your efforts to create a different experience for yourself because they can't interfere, it's not possible. When we react to something outside of us, it is merely the act of something that is already inside us being triggered, no situation or person is causing anything to happen to us. It is all us. Sometimes this can feel maddening, but the more we let this truth permeate, the easier it is to feel good no matter what is happening. When we don't take ownership of our feelings, we give away our power. Get moving. Physical movement is a really powerful tool for the attraction process. If you aren't exercising regularly, I can't recommend it highly enough. I can't think of any better source of motivation than being able to create your dream life with less effort. And, you'll also reap many other benefits as well, that may not seem as glamorous and motivating, but important nonetheless, like lowering triglycerides and pooping with greater ease. When we are feeling yucky, we want to do what we can to break up that yuck, and physical activity is a great way to do that. And, I am not just talking about a full-on exercise session. I am talking about any sort of movement, like taking a few minutes to walk through your office building when you are feeling a bit stressed from work, or doing a few jumping jacks, or some stretches, to tackle that wave of anxiety that just swept over you for no apparent reason. Get moving, it will do wonders.